Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Curtain. And thank you for tuning in. Today, I have the pleasure of having an incredible individual with me who's played a fundamental role not only in progressing her name beyond the boundaries of Pakistani media industry, but also ensuring Pakistani cinema's name gets highlighted, recognized, and respected internationally. An award-winning and critically acclaimed director with two feature films, over 16 television blockbuster serials that include some of them Jackson Heights, Dam, Malal, and with the very latest being Dil Kya Kare. 11 made for television films and also various television commercials. Her first film, Pakistani film released theatrically, Ramchand Pakistani, was released in Pakistan, India, and UK, received the accolade of premiering in the renowned Tribeca Film Festival. Went on to win the Fipressy Prize by the International Federation of Film Critics, won the Satyajit Ray Award at the London Film Festival, and was also screened at the Museum of Modern Art in New York for a week-long run. Obviously, a second feature film was also showcased in which the second wave of Pakistani cinema, Dobara Phir Se, um, exhibited at the South Asian Film Festival, had an international release in US, UAE, UK, and her short film Lala Begum, produced by Z India, received Best Screenplay at the DC South Asian Film Festival and won Best Film at the Pakistani International Film Festival, in which I also had to play a small little role, but behind the curtain. Mehreen Jabbar is with me right now, present in the flesh. I'm very thankful, Mehreen, for being part of it. Just a little more details about you, then we'll go on. She's also the founding member of Kara Film Festival and the NGO War Against Rape, and has also been a core jury member for various local and international film festivals combined. Very recently, Mehreen has completed an international web series and it is due to release on an international web portal. She is currently in New York and she keeps a very close eye on the Pakistani media fraternity. और वो मैं देख भी रही होती कौन सा अच्छा काम भी हो रहा है, and then she just bounces down and produces the best work. Thank you, Mehreen, for joining me. I apologize if I missed some part of your amazing journey or fumbled. I'm just trying to make a little effort. And how are you doing, firstly?
Good. Thank you for having me. And you did a fantastic job. Even though we are not meeting in the flesh, we are meeting virtually. One
We
correction.
are वो मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि every time I do get it, I was doing this in Pakistan when I was there, but I had no choice and I thought कि किसी न किसी तरह से connect होना चाहिए. Many know I was going through your entire bio and your achievements and everything. I read Kara Film Festival founding member. So are we not having another Kara Film Festival again?
I think we should ask Hassan Zaidi that. So, you see, Kara Film Festival was founded in 2000. उस ज़माने में हालात काफ़ी different थे, as you well know. It was, the Pakistani film industry was in the state of kind of a plateau and decline. There were not enough cinemas, and most of the local films were, very sparse, and some students were producing here and there. So at that time, it was an initiative taken by, I think there were about 8-10 of us volunteers who started this off. Okay. And it was purely kind of, none of us were being paid for it. And it was a purely work and a project of passion that, I think at that time, Pakistan actually had no film festivals. Right. And we had all these films to showcase, whether from student or indie films and even commercial films, but nowhere to, have audiences come and see them. And also no platform for foreign filmmakers to come and interact with Pakistani filmmakers. So उस ज़माने में हमने बचपन ही कह लो, even though at that time we were still old, but so Hassan Zaidi, me, Tahira, a lot of people, Khatija, got together, and then I went to the US after 3-4 years, and then Hassan and the team carried it on. Unfortunately, because of lack of sponsorship, and it's a lot of effort to keep doing this on a voluntary basis. You have jobs to do, 9 to 5, bills to pay. तो वो इस वजह से खत्म हो गया.
सही. अच्छा तो चले ठीक है. I mean, I do know हमने पाकिस्तान इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल पे कोशिश की थी, so I do know what you're talking about. It becomes a little difficult to gather sponsors, put that effort in, fight with the government, fly people in. It becomes a little bit problematic, and hopefully we'll have it soon. Mehreen, you've been part of the Pakistani media fraternity, for over 2 decades, and you've pretty much seen everything. And do you think we're in a best time right now? Do you think you've seen the best time? Do you think the best time is yet to come? क्या हम एक बहुत ही अच्छी एज में for the media fraternity?
I would say it's not an easy answer because there are a lot of things that are good during this time, and I'll start with the positives क्योंकि हर वक्त positivity से शुरू करना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल सही.
The positive things are there is a lot more people coming into this industry, a lot more women, which I think is very, very good for the industry.
Right.
Secondly, हमारा infrastructure production quality बहुत बेहतर हो गई है.
Okay.
We have access to, good cameras. We have good DOPs. Yes, sound-wise, we are very, very far behind, but we are, technically from when I started in the early 90s, even though I worked with some of the best technicians who were out of PTV, who were very well trained as well. But वो जो एक scope है, अब बढ़ गया है.
अच्छा.
I feel that our work can be seen internationally. Meaning कि expats can see it, जो भी है YouTube पे आ जाए, Amazon पे आ जाए. So there is much more visibility to Pakistani products than it was in the 90s and in 2000 when I started. Social media helps all of that. So those are all the good things. The bad
Right.
things, which I know we've all discussed, I
Yes.
feel there's a general decline in content of the scripts and the kind of stories we tell. I feel when I started in the early 90s, I had far more freedom to tell the kind of stories I wanted to tell. And even though us zamane mein PTV tha, which is a
Right.
government institution, right? And we were working with pretty stringent censor controls.
Of
And
course.
for us, that meant actually, in a weird, perverse way, we were challenging ourselves more. Okay,
Okay.
censorship hai, but then how do we get around to saying so many other things? There were writers who came from the literary tradition. There were people who were reading at that point, not
Right.
just not just magazines and social media, but were actually reading books. And not to
Right.
say ab nahi karte hain. I don't want to dismiss the whole industry. I think as a whole, I feel हमारा content innovation affect हुआ है in the
Okay.
kinds of genres that we want to address on TV,
Okay.
because that's abhi hum web pe itna, we haven't reached that
We
level
have
yet.
progressed. Right.
So on
Absolutely.
TV, unfortunately, we have become slaves to what the TV masters consider ratings and what they think will work. And all mein bahut badi kahani hai, and I'm sure you have lots to say about that also. So I am that way actually deeply disappointed in the kinds of work that is happening. Not all, some are standout serials with standout stories. But overall, I feel there is a sharp difference between the 90s,
Okay.
because the kind of subjects I did in the 90s and even in 2000, वो कम आते हैं अब. It's more or less 80% is the same kind of thing, and then 20% are standouts.
So, I mean, I do agree with you because थोड़े time के लिए I did also interact with you. I was trying to like produce dramas as well. But like, why has this happened? Is it because we're trying to catch up to the global phenomenon of producing better, or is it because this is what our audience wants? I mean, the entire process of having this saas bahu concept, जो बहुत वो हो गया है. But you're right. We did have good serials before. We were taking risks, but now we're not taking risks. Now I think it's become a financial business model के ज्यादा एपिसोड्स बनाओ, ज्यादा लंबे लंबे सीन खींचो और बस वो हमारा जरा सा फायदा हो जाए, इस पे ज्यादा फोकस जा रहा है और कंटेंट की जो डेप्थ है वो खत्म होती जा रही है. So, but then again, a director, like you has to work. I mean, obviously bills have to be paid. So, do you give in to the system? Do you fight the system? Do you raise a voice, or do you bring about a change? How do we bring evolution?
Well, as you know, that my rate of productivity is pretty.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Absolutely.
it's
Well, you're
it's
very
not that
choosy.
much, right?
You're very
Uh,
choosy. Yeah.
so my last serial was Dil Kya Kare. Usse pehle the last serial was Mera Naam Yusuf and Jackson
Right.
Heights, which had been 4 5 years ago.
Right.
So I try, and especially as I've gotten older and I've spent 25 years in the business, I try and be very picky, because also mere mein wo patience nahi hai to deal with subjects that I'm not interested in. And a serial, as you know, takes everything out of you. 70 80 din
Yes,
ka shoot hai.
absolutely.
It's pretty much एक azab hai.
That's a
And
azab. That's a
a fun azab.
सही है,
But
सही.
it is endless. I mean, everyone knows that. And so if I'm spending so much time, and uske baad post production, usse pehle pre production, so it takes a good 8 9 months to 10 months of your life, right? Minimum. Now, I don't want to do a story that I am hating or I don't believe in. It's not exciting me. So
Right.
I've become very picky, and maybe that's not good. I don't know. Um, I don't think it's rare for a director to now have so much say in content. I feel the producers, the content heads, the channels are driving stories, and they are, as you said, it's become like a tick box. Ke, you know, marital affair tick, roti vi aurat tick, teen char thappad tick,
Right.
and that's kind of not everyone, but majority. That's what's
Majority.
happening, and it's not taken with that integrity. You rehearse, you really work with the writer on scenes, and to your point, कि वो 30 episodes करने हैं because आपके पैसे वापस आने हैं, not because the story is demanding it.
Right.
So I've seen कि आपकी कहानी actually 15 episode की है, but आप उसको 40 बना रहे हो, and then at the end of the day, that's why people say, drag हो गया. Obviously drag होना है.
Right.
So this is all. It's actually a disservice to because we have such talent in our television industry. We've always had that, and we are अपने पाँव पे कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हैं, even though it is being watched much more than ever before. Our TV
Agreed.
serials.
Agreed. So there is an international appeal. People are watching it because when these award shows are hosted abroad, when these networks do it, तो उसको fame और popularity और reaction आपको नजर आता है. So उस पे फिर innovation की मेरे ख्याल से जरूरत नहीं है. But हमारी जो youth है, the Pakistani youth right now, I mean, if you go, I mean, of course, we are in the era of social media. People are watching all sort of like online content, Netflix content, Indian web series, this web series, that web series. उस तरह से जो है काफी लोग पाकिस्तानी serials को mention नहीं करते हैं, and it's turning into this audience which is specific. So how can we I mean हम भी तो चाहते हैं ना कि youth हमारी आगे पहुंचे और ये इस तरह की चीजें देखें. For that, evolution is important. So don't you think as a director there's a responsibility on you to make that kind of noise कि यार let's evolve in content, let's do those changes, even though our content is good as internationally appeal, but हम वापस थोड़ा अगर 90s की content की तरफ जाएंगे, maybe we do evolve, or should we just let it go?
No, I do make a lot of noise. I scream in my bedroom a lot every morning. उसकी कमी नहीं है. But the thing is कि I can try my best. Unfortunately, I'm not an investor or a channel head or a producer. So I'm a freelance director. I try and work with people who think similarly or who have the same goals. And I think things are happening. I think the youth, as you said, there is उस एक टाइम आता था ना कि हमारे ड्रामे सिर्फ हाउसवाइफ्स देखती थी.
Yes.
वो एक कॉन्सेप्ट था, but it is increased. There are people, there are age groups and audiences that we are not catering to with our dramas, which we should.
Mm.
I think, देखो, the thing is, there is a lot of discontent in our industry, and I know, because I know a lot of these actors who are doing 50 serials a year are dying to do something different.
Right.
आपको भी पता है, कहते हैं यार प्लीज हमें कोई मजे का रोल दे दो या
सही.
कुछ different. So there is a lot of hunger there.
Right.
The people in positions of power and change, which could be, I have that power because I'm a director, but eventually I have to sell my product somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
And the key is not कि उसको 90s की तरह कर दो, because we have to be forward and modern thinking. I think we have to take the discipline, the professionalism which was in the 90s,
Right.
and really see what's happening all over the world also. I mean, India mein bhi, it's not just Bollywood, naach, gana, bakwas. There's also different subjects being approached, whether it's in their web. Obviously, their web platforms are far more, they have much more opportunities. हमारे पास नहीं है वो.
Right.
But from kahan se kahan, it's not just Dhoom 3 or 2 or whatever, but they have a lot of, you have Badai Ho, you have Andhadhun, you have different subject matters coming, right? Same as in the US, your local TV is different. Your cable TV has far better work than some of the films that they produce, right?
Right.
So I think we need innovative producers who can think apart from their wallets with their intellect also. And audiences will definitely be interested in a good quality product. I don't think you should entirely blame the audience के कोई देखेगा नहीं. आप उसको दिखाएंगे लोगों को, people, you can create an audience. जरूरी नहीं है कि इंसान अगर जंक फूड खाया जा रहा है उसको आप रोज चिप्स और कोक देते रहो, right?
तो सही है. अच्छा, and I mean ठीक है भाई, hopefully हर industry time के साथ evolve होती है. हमारा भी एक time चल रहा है. I'm not saying this content is 100% bad. We do have good productions, good series coming and all, and we are progressing in the right thing. And technologically भी हम advance हो रहे हैं. You worked with a plethora of artists. You worked with so many senior artists, young artists, and everything. Have artists ever given you a tough time on sets?
Generally, no. They've been. I think maybe I just choose the right people. I don't know. I
You'll
think
be very
because
lucky.
I have unfortunately have this. ये मेरा image कोई बन गया कि I'm very tough, but I'm not tough. I just
I've heard,
demand
I've heard
punctuality.
काफी जो है
Just
डांट वांट पड़ जाती है.
नहीं डांट तो मैं बहुत ही कम करती हूँ, but it's
बहुत.
mostly punctuality and a commitment to your. Like I can't tolerate people who say कि मैं 12 बजे आऊँगा सेट पे, आऊँगी सेट पे या 3 बजे आऊँगी और मैं नहीं आ सकती सुबह या मेरे सीन पहले कर लो. You know that kind of nakhrapan I will not tolerate, but I will tolerate everything that the actor, because the actor is the most important thing. Because actor के बगैर आप क्या बताएंगे, कुछ नहीं बता सकते, right? So they have to be catered to, they have to be respected, and they have to be understood, but to a point where it doesn't become like you can't be spoiled and unreasonable. So
Right.
those are my limitations. I will give you the space and the all of that and work
Right.
with you, but जहाँ आप कहेंगे ना कि मैं नहीं, I can't wake up, I have to shoot the scene at 7 a.m. You have to wake up.
Right.
But if they say I can't wake up, then I can't work with you.
Right.
It's a
No,
job, right? At the end of the day, so
but you have encountered such scenarios in which you
कम
unfortunately
है,
come है,
कम है, कम
come है.
है. Mostly, I would say 95, 98% have been really, really professional, incredible actors I've worked with.
Okay, but I guess that the responsibility of having an actor on set shouldn't be your part. It should be producers, prerogative to get him or her on set on time. वो तो फिर director का तो काम होता है ना कि आप creative पे focus करो rather than this. But
And
unfortunately,
also, and take, I think it's not just the actors, it's the whole team's responsibility to not take it just as a dhanda. It is a job, but
yeah,
you're creating art, like you're creating something that people are going to be watching and being affected by. So
right,
be involved. Don't just sleepwalk through your lines, or things like I'm not going to stand in front of someone and not give them their cues
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to. So
yeah.
that kind of teamwork अगर ना हो, then आप अपना 100% दे नहीं रहे होते उसमें. What I
Okay. सही है. तो I guess it's for I do know for a fact that you are a professional and you do not compromise on any professional values and you make sure कि इस तरह की चीजें होनी चाहिए. That's why you have good projects on your credit. When it comes to the Pakistani film industry, and you are part of the Pakistani film fraternity as well. Ramchand Pakistani was obviously released at a time. I would call it indie cinema, and then you have also Dobara Phir Se. Do you think Dobara Phir Se was released way ahead of its time?
uh, I think it suffered from the fact that just before it was going to be released, that ban happened again, the Indian film
Oh,
ban.
that ban, yes,
So
often.
so again, the footfall in our cinemas fell. So I think that greatly impacted it. दोबारा फिर से पे बहुत लंबी बातें हो सकती हैं. I have in retrospect, when you look at things that you have produced and directed, you always have things that you feel you could have done so much better, and you're proud of so many things. And वो
Yeah,
तो होना चाहिए. Yeah,
right.
for every project of mine, I think it's always that, oh God, I wish I had done this.
Yeah, yeah.
ये क्यों नहीं किया? You have to have a sense of, I always have it, disappointment in absolutely everything I've done.
Okay. Right. So ठीक है. So, but हमारी Pakistani film industry is trying very hard to also keep up and grow at a very good pace. But काफी फिल्में जो थी वो शिकार भी हो जाती हैं for not releasing. So if you are also a vocal part of the Pakistani film fraternity, you've been part of festival fraternities as well. Do you think our film fraternity and association are doing a credible role in making sure that the film environment is growing, or we are not growing in such cases?
Yeah, that's a sad thing. I think we took so long to develop and come to a place that we were some years ago. The problem, and there are so many problems. I don't think there's time for this interview, but from the government support, tax rebates, the whole system of आपकी इंडस्ट्री नहीं सर्वाइव कर सकती अगर आप 6 फिल्में ईद पे रिलीज कर रहे हो, and then for 10 months there's nothing, right? Then you're dependent on Indian and American films.
Right.
You have to be consistent. you can't just focus on big studio productions. Yes, they're important, and same kind of genre. Like it has to be a rom-com or funny or action. You have to encourage all kinds of cinema. You can make low budget. You make do, teen, char crore ki films. You figure out a way to finance them, and you keep releasing every month. There should be films releasing in Pakistan. Us tarah aapki industry banegi. People will want to go and see, but it
Right.
cannot and will not survive with 5 films coming over Eid and then absolute silence. And
Right.
us Eid pe bhi then your 3 big films are competing against each other. So your audience is bartowed anyway. You know. So
Okay.
apart from those are some of the many issues.
नहीं वो तो है but just that I feel that it's a growing phase and growing industry and people should be completely making sure it grows. अभी तो unfortunately COVID आ गया है तो we can't do anything about it but we have some really big films coming out. Um, do you have any more films in the pipeline coming? Are you working on something?
Yeah, there are two. Well, one is in the script stage that's set in Pakistan, and one is in a treatment stage, which is set in New York, which is that's kind of a black comedy thriller, which is
Oh,
here,
nice.
and
Okay.
wahan pe it's a dramedy, which a dramatic
Okay.
comedy.
Pretty
So,
cool.
abhi they're all in the pipeline. We still have to, once they're finished, then approach investors. Everything got stopped because of COVID, but
Right.
the good thing about COVID is also you have time to develop uh, and collaborate with writers.
Right. So I mean, yeah, I guess it's a blessing in disguise is happening. You have very recently directed a web series, I believe. I don't know much details about it. Um, Firstly, how different was it executing this web series as compared to your local dramas? Did you have that freedom to kind of, go out of the content? Was it again dictated to you to do as told, or did you have the liberty to work creatively?
Oh, it was very different from working in a drama. Number one, technically, it was done as a film, meaning enough
Okay.
the same emphasis on sound or picture quality or edit
Right.
was given. So in a drama में पता ना पेलते हैं कि आपने you have to film 30 minutes in one day. You have to shoot 50 scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
And the worst person, poor guy on the set, and the most deprived person on set is the sound guy. जो वो two broken Sennheiser mics के साथ काम करते हैं. So thankfully this was done in a very professional and the international quality standard, and your QT क्या कहते हैं, quality time वो जो
Quality
check होता है ना,
standards. Quality
QC that's very kind of international. So that was good. I also learned a lot. Creatively, there was no interference. It's a really fun script by Omera. I don't think Omera has written. I wouldn't say it's a comedy, but it's a really light-hearted series on issues that are really important. So it's not like ha ha he he,
Okay.
but it's got so much to say. But she's done it so well because Omera is known for very serious writing.
Okay.
So both for her and me, it was so much fun, and I just had, I think, the most fantastic ensemble of cast who were excellent. So, and there was no pressure to cast names. It was left up to me to cast the right person for the role.
Acha, so basically, the web series environment, which I thought was, which obviously रुक गया है अभी because of cross border tensions and all that. So I mean, is it complete now? Are we about to see something regarding it soon? Is it going to be?
I think so. I think so. Maybe I'm hearing in a couple of months. There was some QC that was left.
Okay.
It's a long process. It took a year. It's not
Yeah.
like you churn out, finish, and you release. So, bas abhi very soon. As soon as I know, I will let everyone know.
That's great. And do you think that we should also focus on having our own web platforms as well locally?
Yes.
पाकिस्तानी हो तो उससे बहुत फर्क पड़ेगा rather than focusing on international media. But then again, we have PEMRA bylaws which come in which say that आपके ऊपर जो है पैसे लग जाएंगे कि अगर आपको पैसे देने पड़ेंगे then how do we they had think that इतने पैसे दे तो फिर आप revenue bhi na bana. How is this going to work? I mean, and someone starts progressing and then they start imposing such hefty fines. How does
I
one
mean,
go forward?
that's where, these producers associations, I mean, there is a benefit to unionizing and becoming a group and speaking with that voice, right? That's how a lot of these in established industries like India and the US, people have got their rights and they're protected. So, yes, there are bodies, but they need to get a little more active. in terms of telling the government, listen, this is the web series is the future, the web, not series, the digital platform.
Yeah.
हमारे यहाँ it's not that much because obviously we don't have that many subscribers yet, let's say to Amazon or Netflix, or and we have to figure out the payment model, right?
Yeah.
If someone in
And
Pakistan
that's
wants
the
to
that's the
start
biggest concern.
so how are you going to earn? You're going to earn through subscribers or ads. But
Yeah.
there are people who are trying out, and these are baby steps. And eventually, I'm sure the channels will see the advantage of this and get into it themselves
Right.
because that is the future. I mean, and you have to embrace it now. It's happening all over the world.
Yes, and very briefly, you mentioned associations and unions and guilds and all that. Do we have active associations in Pakistan? I mean, we spoke about it. क्या वाकई में active है? Directors Guild and
No, Directors Guild to nahi hai. There is a Pakistan Film Producers Association. There's also the UPA.
yeah.
But I think they all try in their own way to do things, and sometimes they're successful. Sometimes there are lots of voices. I think it just needs to be. I'm unfortunately not that active because I don't. You need to be there and attend meetings and be
But
very.
still, I mean, but why aren't you active?
Well,
I know you're
it's
not
I
there.
know, I
Yeah.
know. I should be active. एक तो I don't want.
WhatsApp के ग्रुप पे तो बातचीत हो सकती है ना?
WhatsApp group पे I'm a little tired of WhatsApp groups and
Fair enough.
I mean, my support is needed. I'm not. I think there are far better people who have contacts in government who can speak much better than me, who can do that job. But I'm there to support.
You're there to support. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I hate WhatsApp groups again. I just can't bear them anymore. Especially COVID के ज़माने में ना every morning you wake up with 60,000 theories of COVID.
Well, everyone's got their own thing, and but yeah, it's a very troubling time, and people are trying to just keep themselves busy. Um, okay, and um, हमारा जो एक बहुत बड़ा जो हमारा जो एक we go through this thing of the critics fraternity. When critics are there, when they do evaluations on dramas, when they do evaluation of films, when they do evaluation of web series. Do you think we have very professional system here as well when it comes to judging our content, or do you think we need to work on that as well?
I think we have some very good critics who write well. Who देखो main चीज critic का क्या है? At the end of the day, it is a personal choice. A critic is not God. You know, a critic is a critic. Is a person who is writing an opinion about something he or she sees. That's all over the world. Now
Yeah,
there is a way of criticizing. Now,
yeah,
unfortunately, in Pakistan, there are some who write really well. There are some who I read and I can't make head or tails because
yeah.
it's written in such poor kind of a language and there is no constructive criticism. Sometimes it gets really petty
Yeah.
and it's like someone from high school writing it. So those standards I feel that the publications themselves should enforce, and they do. They have places like Dawn or Tribune, or I mean, they have their own, good writers. And Urdu press mein, I'm sure there are some. I
Of
haven't read,
course.
unfortunately, but hey, बहुत हैं
Uh,
who know the history of cinema. Who can the critic needs to understand the language of cinema. Needs to have.
yeah.
You can't just get up and start writing because your criticism needs to have context. You
Of
can't just
course.
say I hated this film and maza nahi aaya and that's a criticism. That's not a criticism. You have to say क्यों मजा नहीं आया.
नहीं, absolutely. Because constructive criticism is important. Is sometimes I do feel that apart from the senior critics, we have these powerful platforms are given to, I would say, people who have no experience. और उसके अंदर थोड़ा सा वो system hurt भी होता है, and उससे बहुत
But I
फर्क
have
पड़ता
to
है.
say one thing. I mean, because I was noticing recently when people's films were coming out and they were talking against के देखो ये critics हमारी film के खिलाफ लिख देते हैं, and that's
हाँ,
not right. And I think that's also really stupid because you can't force people to write good things or bad things. So
right.
unless, and yes, and I'm not familiar with agendas and all. I'm sure honge a publication, a channel, which is also another sad thing about our industry is why can't we support each other? Over here, it happens. If one studio or if one channel is making something, the other channel will highlight that. Yahan nahi hoga. Like if Hum or Geo is doing something, then ARY won't do it, or vice versa, right? So that kind of is counterproductive if you're trying to build something.
तो वो तो unity तो नहीं है ना. That's a given fact के Cross promotion doesn't exist. Nothing. We don't build on the fact that we have to build bridges. We're mostly burning bridges, and I hope it comes to that. You've seen the industry grow. Um, एक एक छोटा सा चीज है कि हमारे पास यहाँ पे छोटा सा प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. वी हैव अ वेरी स्मॉल इंडस्ट्री व्हेन इट कम्स टू आर्टिस्ट. हम कहते हैं हम छोटी सी इंडस्ट्री है, यू नो, हम वी शुड यूनाइट. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि एक आर्टिस्ट एक ड्रामा पकड़ता है, दो पकड़ता है, तीन पकड़ता है, चार पकड़ता है, एंड ही फील्स दैट यू नो नहीं यार मुझे पैसे कमाने, मुझे इसकी फिक्र नहीं है कि मैं किसी का सेट हार्म करूंगा नहीं करूंगा. आई हैव टू थिंक अबाउट माई सेल्फ. बट उससे प्रोडक्शन एनवायरनमेंट बहुत डिस्ट्रॉय होती है when you take multiple projects. Are you in favor of something like that, or would you say you know people have to be more professional and focusing on one project at a time and not multiple projects because character development, character depth is important? Like point is that you know actors believe कि भाई we have to make a revenue and we should know एक नहीं दो चार projects तो उठाने चाहिए. उसके अंदर ये होता है कि you know when you have a seasoned director directing and you find out that यार ये चार projects में उलझा हुआ है या उलझी हुई है and you know production का set destroyed, environment destroyed. Do you think that ये practice होनी चाहिए या?
It's terrible, awful practice. But I understand when people do it because they say, okay, one project is not paying me enough to run my house, so I have to take three projects.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. It's you can't. A role requires you कि दाढ़ी shave करो. No, I'm stuck in another project. इसलिए मैं दाढ़ी नहीं shave कर सकता. That's the most ridiculous reason because if a character requires you not to have a दाढ़ी, you need to shave the दाढ़ी, right? But
Right.
यही मसले हैं कि हम चार projects में फंसे हैं और dates. So at the end of the day, that's what the other frustrating thing about our TV industry has become this everything but the art itself. It's the dates कि
Yeah.
मैनेजर से यहाँ से इससे फेवर ले लो या ये कर लो या वो कर लो और वो 5 से 6 घंटे के लिए आएंगे. Looks, रिहर्सल के लिए टाइम नहीं है. All of that. So it's the fun in creating something becomes less and less.
Yeah.
Which I felt over the last few years. I feel there was in the rat race से पहले more people were more interested in giving much more time.
Right. Are actors coming on set having script reading sessions, giving time to the creativity, or has it become like यार जल्दी से मेरा scene पकड़ाओ मैं पढ़ूँ और मैं 10 बजे निकल जाऊँ? Is
देखो वही मैं आई थिंक आई हैव जस्ट बीन लकी कि मेरे साथ जिन्होंने किया है वो बहुत ही ज्यादा प्रोफेशनल और मजे के लोग थे. आई थिंक एवरीवनस गिवन देयर बेस्ट एंड मे बी पीपल हु जस्ट वांट टू कम एंड रश ऑफ डोंट वांट टू वर्क विद मी. यही होगा. आई हैव बीन लकी. I wouldn't say I've got anyone who's been. It's just been a pleasure.
and do you feel that you work with almost every network? Or सब मतलब कि सबका काम करने का तरीका बेहतरीन है. Everyone's great. Everyone's professional in their own way. Or do you think we need to grow further as an industry and open our minds a little bit more and being a little bit better at things out there?
I think everyone really has the same issues and the same strengths in the sense that, I mean, if you say payment delays, I think every channel, every production company.
Payment delays do exist.
Of course. You know that. Everyone knows that. They exist on all levels, unfortunately.
All levels.
And all channels, all production companies. Number two, the desperation to do ratings and to have these, unfortunately, content के लोग होते हैं who decide कि ये कहानी ठीक है या नहीं है, more than the writer and the director, which I feel, and sometimes I feel they are not qualified enough to decide.
Do you care about ratings? Do you care कि ratings
I mean, everyone wants. देखो मेरे show, whatever it is, God has been very kind to me that He has given. I've had the opportunity to work for so long, and not all of my dramas have got ratings. I can only count. There will be Dam Doraha, maybe, and the rest are they've been appreciated, but वो ratings नहीं आई है उस तरह की अभी तक. दुख तो होता है, मैं भी चाहती हूँ मेरी भी ratings हो. लेकिन अब नहीं है तो नहीं है. But I would rather do good quality work than do bad quality work. I would rather I do what I love doing, and that also gets ratings.
Okay. Are you a tough director to work with? Do you hear that often?
No, once they work with me, I think my reputation is before working with me. I think जिन्होंने मेरे साथ काम किया, hopefully, unless I don't know, there might be people who don't like me. I'm sure, but generally, people have had good experiences. I think. I hope.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure that's why you're continuing doing great work. I do believe I have taken a lot of your time. And I hope कि मैंने काफी आपके साथ बातें की उसमें से it was worth it. But towards the end, I would like to ask you, Mehreen, that being part of such an amazing industry, which has grown to an international level, and we brought numerous awards, with people like you and others. What would be some final thoughts to say for this industry? कि अगर हम किसी rut में stuck हैं, and to be honest, I'll be very serious कि there are problems. I've seen them. I'm very frustrated with them. Yes, we do move at snail pace, and हम उसको शायद उतनी तरह से fix नहीं करते या कर रहे हैं. I mean, certain things that you just like to just say that कि अगर हम इन चीजों पे फोकस करें तो हम और बेहतर हो सकते हैं, हम बेहतर हैं. लेकिन हमें हमें इन चीजों पे फोकस करना चाहिए कि यार हम we should just become better at things or more professional.
I think देखो, main thing is I feel we need to focus on our scripts, and we have become a little too comfortable कि एक genre hit हो गया है या 3 हो गए हैं, बस वो ही करते रहो. I think main thing is let's challenge ourselves, the writers, to write different themes and in different ways also.
Okay.
Writing, हमारे यहाँ problem ये है because writing is still structured. You have to learn certain things. It can come to you naturally. People write beautifully without having taken a single class, but it is still a structure, right?
Right.
So I feel उस पे ज़रा focus करें and try and innovate. We have some of the best script writers, and the Indians also tell us that they love because हमारा realism is great now, but we just need to. I feel हम ज़रा से lazy हो गए. And because it's been doing well for the channels, right? वो ratings आ रही हैं तो 5.8 तो 25,000.6 ratings, मुझे तो समझ ही नहीं आती क्या है. वो बस ग्राफ ही ऊपर नीचे जा रहे होते हैं. But I don't understand.
I think I don't know where they are. I want to see these.
Yeah.
15.
So I just feel in script wise we have the writers, we have the talent, but हम लोग बस एक उसमें निकल गए हैं. And my personal thing is read more. Please start reading. हमारा अपना literature इतना है, बाहर को छोड़ दो.
Right.
And because that informs character development. जो हमारे what I feel our dramas lack is characterization. जो पहले 90s में होती थी.
Right.
अब it's stereotyped characters. मजलूम लड़की, बुरा आदमी, खुरैंट सास. But there has to be the खुरैंट सास. Probably उसके भी issues थे बेचारी के. क्यों वो बनी खुरैंट? है ना? तो उसको explore करने की कोशिश की जाए.
तो आपको अभी भी आ रही है? Have you gotten recent scripts with such content? Are you accepting them?
No. I think people don't want to give me those kind of scripts. But I'm happy. I'm developing something, another web series with a writer, which I'm very excited about because it's actually just me and the writer. And abhi tak there's full freedom to do what we want.
But then the producer is going to jump in and start saying.
Inshallah, I hope the producers nahi hai, so कुछ फुसला के मैं कुछ कह दूंगी.
दिमाग वाले हो जाएंगे. But नहीं, it's been a pleasure, Mehreen. Thank you so much. I hope this was worth it, and I hope we got to speak about lots and lots of things. And I do know you are busy and you don't usually talk about these things. And I'm thankful. And please keep in touch and stay safe in this tragic time. And hopefully we'll resume in amazing productions. And looking forward to your web series and coming projects. And inshallah, मेरी छोटी सी ख्वाहिश थी I get to work with you, and probably I will get to work with you sometime.
Inshallah. Let's do a Canada, America, Pakistani production or something.
I'm all game for it. Let's do it.
Done. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye.